Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and do you love your car but hate road noise? I'll show you how we can fix that. All right, y'all, so let's talk about this project a little bit and the reasons why you very likely want to do this yourself. Now, this will be another series of Soundskins installs into now in this case, into the brand new BMW M2. Now, some of the directions are going to be very specific for this car, of course, but make sure to check out my other series from other models. But in addition, the general advice to this is going to apply to really much any car. And as someone who just recently rented a Jeep, wow, they are loud. And I'm talking road noise loud. And I do know Soundskins makes complete kits for Jeeps, so make sure to check that out. Now, road noise sucks. There's no way around it. Even if you like the sound of your car, your exhaust or whatever, it's not road noise that's what you love. The hiss of the tires, you know, the rumble of other cars going by, and that's not what you enjoy about your car. And this also has the benefit of improving your stereo system as well, because if you lower that overall sound floor of noise in your car, your stereo system sounds better. So this is going to be a stage 1 install where we're going to be working with the doors only. I will have a follow-up series for more than that, but if you just want that initial install, this is a great way to go. Now, this is going to be applicable to multiple cars. I'm going to do this stage 1 in the doors. I'll show you on one door because it's going to be the same whether you do 1 or 2 or 4 or 6. It's all going to be the same. So let's jump in the car and let's get started. All right, so let's walk through this process a little bit and how we're going to do this. And I've already got it partially off because I want to talk through the process of getting a door card off, at least in the case of a BMW. Now, we're going to be using my M2 specifically, obviously. Every BMW is going to be different, so if you're following this guide or using this as a reference for a different car, make sure that you look on how to take your door card off. Sometimes there's screws up here, like in the X5. There's a screw up here. Sometimes on some of the older ones, the cover on your door pull pulls off, and there'll be a screw at the top and a screw at the bottom. But in this case, on the M2, there's a plastic shield back behind your door pull. Use a plastic trim tool, never use metal, to pull that off. And there's 2 T20s there at the top. There's another T20 right here underneath the door pull itself, or armrest. And then there's 2 right across the bottom. So go ahead and pull both of those off. So you pull all of those, and then get a plastic trim tool in. And what you want to do is you want to start with a small one. Now, some of the BMWs until just recently, all BMWs until just recently used these plastic pins that hook into the door card and then punch into a hole on the door metal skin itself. Now, this particular M2, it's the other way around. It's a brand new change. They've got steel posts on the door and grommets on the door card. But, so what you want to do, and if your door card's never been off before, it's going to be very, very tight. So take a small trim tool, get at the bottom edge, get that in, get a bigger trim tool in, work that in underneath it, and then slowly work your hands in. And what I usually do is I'll press with my thumb and kind of pull with my fingers, pull, and you'll start to pull all of those free. And you can see until it's connected right across the top and your door pin. So you can get this, you can see, pop, 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 pop. Lift it up off your door pin. Now, it's gonna be difficult to show right now, but you've got a Bowden cable here at the other end. So you'll want to take and unhook the cable, and I'll show you this Bowden cable. You pull up on the clip, looks like that. And then be really careful of all the rest of the wires in here. So that's why you don't want to yard the door card away completely and really hard. Your car is going to be different depending on what it is. In this case, I've got a little horseshoe lock plug right here at the bottom. That should, at that point, have the door be free entirely. We're going to take the door card and set it aside, because what we're going to do is we're going to line this in 2 different ways. But I'll show you that once I've got the door card off. All right, so here's what the inside of a new M2 door looks like, and a lot of the new BMWs look like this. The vapor barrier days are gone, you know, where they had that foam vapor barrier with the butyl tape here across the top that was very easy to tear. It had 0 sound reduction qualities and generally wasn't all that great. That was a great way to get a leak in your car. BMW has now replaced them with these hard plastic shells all the way around. But this is also forcing me to modify my stage 1 through stage 3 Soundskins kits. Now, if you take a look at my other work that I've done, I have stage 1, 2, and 3. Stage 1 would be lining the door card, which we talked about before, and replacing the vapor barrier. Stage 2 would be putting Soundskins Classic, the metal-backed Classic, on the inside of the door skin itself, the actual metal itself. And that really does make a difference. Now, with these new BMWs and these plastic shells, these are very difficult to get off. And then in addition, in a lot of cases, your window motor is actually attached to the back side of this piece. So for me, it's just simply not worth the effort to get these off. So I'm going to do a modified stage 1 and stage 2. So in this case, we're going to do a stage 1, which is going to be lining the door card with the Soundskins Wavy foam. And then we're going to put a layer of the Pro over the top of this with hole cutouts for our various different pieces. But we're going to actually lay down over the top of this piece about as far as we can go. Now, we can't cover or don't really want to cover our posts here, so we'll punch through those. But we're going to put Soundskins over because this does nothing to reduce sound at all, zip. So we're going to improve that. Now, really quickly, let's go ahead and look at our door liner. Forgive background noise, guys. So here's our door liner. Now, as you can see, it already has some of this kind of fluffy, cottony material in here. And this is better than nothing. And BMW used to not include this at all. And depending on your car and your manufacturer, they may not either. But this really is better than nothing. It's not great. So what we're going to do is we're going to be replacing the Wavy foam in place of this piece over the top of all this. Okay, so go ahead and lay this out. Now, one last point. If you notice, I've got it sitting on boxes. I don't want to have this down on the concrete and scrape up my door card where I'd see any scuffs or scrapes. So be careful as you do it. Okay, so I'm going to spin this around. I'm going to show you how we lay in Wavy foam here on the door card. All right, so one of the advantages of this OEM fleece, as they call it here, is that you can use it as a partial template, but only a partial template, because we want to be bigger than this itself. Plus, it can give us some areas that we are going to partially cut out, like the speaker will cut out entirely. But keep in mind that the Wavy foam is backed by adhesive, and I've got it face down right now. So we actually want to do this in reverse, because we want the sticky side onto the plastic of the door. Okay, so go ahead and take your pencil, go ahead and just lay it out, and start to use some of this as a template. Now, the speaker itself is going to come out entirely. So we take that, and I draw an X, but the shape where the Bowden cable is, I'm not going to cut out entirely because we're going to use that as a flap. We have to get the door pull or the Bowden cable in here, but what we don't want to do is leave a bunch of space. We have the big post hole that's up here. These are the cutouts for the Bowden cable here and here. We're not going to cut it out entirely. This is the cutout for where that middle screw goes. This back here is the cutout for the connection for all the electrical things in the door. This cutout is so you can see the sticker. We're not going to do that. So then you can just take and just write out just a general shape out of the rest like this. We can come around because, again, keep in mind, we're going to exceed the overall size of this entire piece across the entire door. So like that. So we've got everything marked that needs to be marked. So you can take that and just put that back. We're not going to use it again. And now you've got your template. The other thing that you can do is potentially you can use these as a template for your other doors, right? So both back doors should be about the same. They're just mirrors of each other. Both front doors should be about the same. They're just mirrors of each other. So once you get this cut out, you can actually use it as a template for the other door. Okay? So now you can use a shop knife or a pair of scissors. I'm just going to cut this off away from the roll. And then I'm going to cut out my speaker circles, and then we're going to lay it in on the door and start working the rest of it out. All right. So you can see it essentially all dry fit into place here. And if you have any that sticks up like this, that's okay, because you're going to be pressing it down when you stick it on. But just make sure that you don't have anything important covered, like any of your connections or how your door card reattaches. But you want to fill as much space as possible, right? I might need to trim that one back just a smidge. But remember, all this extra material is good, because anywhere that this has this bare plastic back here, you want to have this on it. So as I kind of tuck it and dry fit it. Now, if you end up in a place like this, see where there's like a gap because there's a cut back, You can do one of two things. One, split the material so you can lay it down, which is obviously going to leave a gap right here in the middle. You can even potentially take some of your scrap, which you'll end up having, and fill this space in. It doesn't have to be a contiguous sheet to make a difference. It helps, but it doesn't have to. So if you end up in a place like maybe a miscut and you have a big gap right there, go ahead and take some of your scrap and fill that in. Okay, so now I'll take one of my scrap pieces here as an example. This has got the backing on it. You just peel your backing off. What I will usually do is I'll start in one corner and slowly lay it down and be peeling the backing as I lay it down all into place, using my various different cutout holes as my guidance points, right? So my Bowden cable clips here, my posts here, my Bowden cable connection here, my speaker here, and so on. Okay, so go ahead and peel this off, go ahead and get it connected, and lay it all down, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Yeah. All right, so it's all laid down into place now, and I usually don't use the roller on the Wavy foam because this material is very soft and malleable, and the roller can tear it. Now, as you can tell, in some places I've been too aggressive, right? So there's this arc around the speaker right here that I'm also going to fill in with their speaker rings here in just a second. But I've been a little too aggressive here around the outside, and I'll show you what the speaker rings look like on the car itself when we get there. But I've got a little bit of a gap there, I've got a little bit of a gap there. So you can always take, you're always going to end up with scrap. You can always take scrap and fill in some of those places that you might have missed. Cut a little bit of an arc here to fill that in as well, right? So all really easy. So go ahead and fill all of the rest in. Get this all adhered down really nicely. Make sure it sticks down. It's not covering any of your posts, or in my case, grommets. Make sure you can still get your electronics connections. And then let's go back to the door. All right. So when measuring the Soundskins Pro for the door, like I said, there's two different ways of doing it. If you have the soft vapor barrier, you can definitely check out like my F87 or my E53 X5 video, those on how to replace the vapor barrier, because we're not doing that in this case. If you have, like, for example, the new Supra or many of the new BMWs with this hard plastic shell, we're going to lay it right over the top. So what you want to do first is just measure. So we don't want to interfere with our door pin or anything else. So we do want to be a little bit wider, but not enough to cause problems. Okay, so we're going to measure. I'm going to measure inside this post here, inside this post here, but I'm going to get just a general measurement of what the sheet size is going to be like. So let's see. We're going to be looking at about 38 inches or so across, and about, so 38 by about 18 or so, okay? So go ahead and lay out your sheet of Soundskins Pro, cut out a 38 by 18 piece, and we're gonna bring it back to the car and kind of lay it into place on what it's gonna look like.
All right, also when you look at the door here, I've got my sheet cut out. And what I'll usually do is I will use this to rough cut a place. Now, most of the time on your doors, in my case, I have these posts. You have, pins that stick out, you have posts that stick out. You can use those essentially as anchors for the sheet to get it oriented, right? So I'm gonna lay it out. Now I'm gonna want it to, about here, right? Like I said, it's all rough cuts. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna punch it through my post right there. I'm gonna take it on, I'm gonna punch it through the post on this side, like that. I have these posts, the door card posts on this new M2, but every car has some sort of post so that you can set in to actually start to lay this out. Because what I'm going to do is now I'm going to draw out kind of where this goes, right? So this corner is going to want to go, but actually not just fairly well across the top. I'm going to go around this part right here. Obviously, I've got my speaker right here, so I'm going to draw, get a feel for my speaker, which is about here. I'm going to take, and I'm going to draw the speaker. I'm always going to cut a little bit less, and you mark that, but I really want to cut that out. Come back up here. Probably going to cut around the cabling in this case, just because it is so big, and so on. I'm just going to go all the way around the outside. So I know I was off camera just a little bit. Okay, as you can see, the way this starts to kind of lay out. And always draw less than you need to take off. Because what you don't want to do is draw really aggressively like here and then cut this out and realize you cut off too much, so it tends to make your entire piece, not fluid, right? So lay this up here, get a good template laid out. I've got a post right here in the middle that I'm going to cut around, so I'm going to You can draw an X right there, which is also my trick. I try not to cut a big circle. What I try to do is I cut an X in the material, then I press the material, like in this case, over this big post right here. Because the flaps will open up, it'll press around the flaps, and then I can gently trim the flaps down, and I get the maximum amount of coverage that I could possibly get. Okay? Now, the one other thing you want to look for as we go through all of this is our Bowden cable, right? So if we put this back, our Bowden cable is right here in the middle. Our Bowden cable is going to punch through that. So when we push this through, there's my Bowden cable right there. So we draw a rough circle because we don't want to come all the way around that, and an X, and our cable will come through there and it will go around the attachment right there. I'll do the same thing for any other cables, anything else. Okay, but go ahead and draw it all out, pull it off, cut off your initial excess, and then we're going to shape and fit it to get it all set in here. Now, the other thing I tend to do, for whatever reason, no one is ever going to see this again, but I do like doing the logos that are attached, right? So they're not upside down or sideways, they're coming. So tell me just trying to be supposed to be about. So go ahead and lay it out. Go ahead and cut out your template. All right. All right, so here you see it's really rough cut into place, just something the shape cut out. And as you can tell, and you'll get better at this as you go, that I could have actually probably gone just a little bit further on this edge. I was a little too aggressive. If I look down on this edge, I'm not bad. I've got a cable in the way right now, which I will straighten out, but that's pretty good. I'm avoiding my posts. You can see my Bowden cable. I've got a hole for my Bowden cable. I've got this post through. I've got this connection here that I'm going to come through with this sensor, and I split it and just give it a little bit of extra room. And then there's the center post here for the door handle that I split around it as well, that I'm going to close the Soundskins down around it. The speaker, I've got a good cutout here, and I've got it posted all the way around. So that's really not too bad. I've got a little bit of adjusting to do on this side, just so I don't go beyond. You don't want to go beyond the porters, or you go hard, obviously. And then in this case, I don't want to interfere with these posts either. If you have the older style flat breeze where you'd have holes here instead of posts, but plastic plugs, you'll be coming through the door card, you don't want to cover those holes. Though sometimes I have on purpose, because a plastic plug will push through the Soundskin material. It can actually sort of hold on to you a little bit better. Okay? The adhesive on the back of this will help hold onto those plugs. So if you have a loose door card, sometimes I'll actually cover the holes for those plastic posts, and the Soundskins will help hold it in place. But as you can tell, this is a pretty good rough cut. Even with one slight adjustment up here, I'm a little bit over my head a little bit. All the way around, feels pretty good. I've got my screws down here where my screws go for the door. I've covered them a little bit. Yeah, see, I'm going to have to adjust down here a little bit now that I look at it. So I'm a little bit too far on this edge. So, I've cut here, and you cut this back just a little bit, a little bit better, and this is good. Now, once you have this perfectly set, you can use this as a template for the other door, which is to make the other door easier, faster. Peel this off. Now, make sure to lay this face down when you cut it. It's the reverse on the other side. I've made that mistake. You lay down in the same orientation, and you can end up with a copy of it. Marks the mirrors. So take this and lay this down when you draw it out on another sheet of material. Okay, so go ahead and get this shaped right, and go ahead and cut a template for the other side. And I'll show you hanging this in place. All right, so I've made my adjustments, fits really well, and I've taken this over to another sheet, the Soundskins Pro. I've reversed it, and I've made a template for the other door, so the other doors can get back to at least two templates, one with the Wavy tone and one with this. So the majority of the work, this is kind of a 70-30 job. So you can put about 70% of the effort in your first door. We use these templates in the other door because it's really quickly. It's the same whether it's 2 doors, 4 doors, and so on. Okay, so go ahead and just take that, line it up, make sure that your cut is correct, and then peel the back off. What I will normally do is I'll peel part of the back off, usually in a corner. I'll tack that corner up to be where I want it to be, where it matches up to everything else. Like I probably tack back this corner first, and slowly work my way across, peeling the material, make sure you don't leave any behind, and then just match it up all the way across the door, so it lines up really nicely, just like that. All right, you can make a really big difference in the cut. So I'm going to get this applied and stuck on. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, so you can see it's on. Yeah, and I did only need to get a little bit of trimming, like add some excess, take them up here. So don't hesitate to trim a little bit. Always start with more material than you plan, because like I said, if you do end up where you have a little bit of extra space, I could extend it just a little bit here, and a little bit on this corner, but all in all, it's really good. So after you peel all the back off, you apply it all into place. I tend to either use my hand as we get this all set. You can also use the roller as well. Now the material, if you press too hard on it, will tear. So I actually tend to use my hands more than the roller on the doors, just because there's so many edges and gaps and little spaces and things. And what I don't want to have it do is tear. Now, the one thing don't forget, you see right here, I put a little split in here, and this is for the door electronics, right? So don't pin your cable back. Right, but work your way all around. Make sure that it's adhered down really, really well. This will stick to just about anything, so it'll stick to the plastic and the metal and the cables and everything else underneath. So just work your way around, make sure it's not hanging straight anywhere just to help it. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to add sound rings around the speaker here in just a second. That's real easy. I'll show you that in just a moment. But go ahead and make sure that your Soundskins Pro is down really, really well to your whole car. And then we're going to grab a strip of the sound rings that you're going to put right around the outside edges of the speaker to close all of its gap. All right, so with the speaker itself, you can end up with a little bit of a gap in the material. And what you really want to do to include your sound system here is have all of that sound coming forward, right? You won't want it to be that leaking out to the side. So Soundkins makes this speaker rings material super soft. Just take it, rough measure around the outside of your speaker. It doesn't have to be super exact. It's about right there. Now let's trim it as you go. Trim on top. Here. And this material is so soft. You can see it compresses down to almost nothing. So you don't have to worry about your door card, how it's seated up here. It won't impede your door card. It is very, very soft, but at the moment you compress it, it springs back. So your door cards are going to fit here, and this is going to close that gap between the outside edge of the speaker and the door card itself. And you can see BMW has a little bit of foam here. It's these back spaces here. So just peel the backing off, and then just place it all around the outside of your speaker. So pick a side. I'm going to get around the outside edge here and press it down to make sure that it closes that gap in between. I've got a little bit of wiring harness right here, so it can be a little bit uneven, but that's okay. Just going to work my way around, fill in that space really, really nicely as we come around. Just like that. Okay. So what's going to happen? So when the door card goes on, the door card's going to press right here, and it's going to press back, and then this is going to fill any possible air gap between your speaker and your card. You get all that great sound coming forward. Okay. So make sure to double check all this. Your speaker ring on, and then we can put our door card back on. All right. So go ahead and grab your door card. Put your new Wavy foam installed. Then just walk it back to your door, and it's just going to be a matter of plugging everything back in. So don't forget this lower plug here. And take that, rock that into place, and then we're going to take our little foam flap here and put it over the top of that connection. Our Bowden cable right here, we're going to walk out, and we're going to put the little clip here, and we'll put here, and then rock it into place. Now, the Bowden cable, basically, just take it, stick the nose of this in, and snap down, and it should snap into place. Always check your door pull on the other side before you completely secure your door cards. Just to make sure that that's in and working. But this has so few connections, it works pretty straightforward. So go ahead and take your Bowden cable, stick it, rock it back into place. The nose goes in first, snaps down, just like that. Door pull works. And then take your foam flap here to put it back over, the end of the Bowden cable right there. You're going to, the little clips that it came out of, tuck it back into those clips, the balloon foam cable or the Bowden cable. Get it back tucked in there. And then the one thing you never want to forget, don't forget your door pin. So go ahead and take your door pin, spin it upwards, and get your door card in through the door pin. Once you have the door pin in place, so this one's going to fight you a little bit. Once you have the door pin in place, you start at the top because all these clips are straight in. So you just line it up really, really nicely and then gently bang it into place across these top clips, and then your door card will hold. Then you can gently press or very gently press or impact onto those little grommets or the posts you got in both. Okay, get it over your door pin, get this set into place, your door card's on, and you can put those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws back in, and you're done with the store. It's going to be a repeat on the other side. So quickly, now that's back on. Looks really good. Goes back on very, very easily. And it's all that. Now, like I said, cut the templates out of doing your driver's side, cut the templates in reverse. Your other side, the other door is going to go faster. Again, take out your 5 screws, pull the card off, line them both, take back on, and you just go. Other than that, you're all done. So good job. Go ahead and clean up, put your tools away.
All right, guys, so go ahead and clean up and put your tools away. And you can tell this isn't a hard project. It just takes a little bit of time, especially if you cut those templates. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. Your doors are going to be a little bit heavier than they were before. Not a lot, but noticeably a little bit heavier. So don't slam your doors. I also expect this to make a difference, but make sure to check out my comparison video, as I will have a OEM Stage 1 and Stage 2 full comparison video showing actually the measured differences in doing this in your car. I'm excited to have this set up. I've had it in previous cars, and it really did make a huge difference in my driving experience, plus my stereo system as well sounded significantly better. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check out Soundskins. Everything you need will be listed in the video description below, so make sure to check that out. I appreciate you watching, and while you're there, please make sure to click like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference to my channel, and I would truly appreciate it. Plus, that way you get notifications of upcoming projects, new DIYs, new car reviews, new events, everything you can imagine. I can't wait to show you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next project.